Welcome everyone to Geekfest Saturday morning, our Meet the Filmmakers panel. My name is Sterling Gates. I'm a comic and animation writer. First, let's just roll through names and projects and blood type and like all the information that you think is important to your appearance here today.
Hi, I'm Joshua, and I wrote and directed a film called Star Trek Wars. It's a comedy about George Lucas and J.J. Abrams fighting over Star Wars 7, and I got representing both sides today. So thanks for coming, and there's flyers on the chairs. Thank you.
Talk about your process with developing the story, as it may be, of your project and how you, what your process was like getting it made. Josh.
All right. Well, you know, Star Trek Wars, it's a clash between Star Wars and Star Trek, and I think it originated with J.J. Abrams taking over the Star Wars universe. He went from Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness, and now is executive producing the whole Star Wars trilogy. So as soon as we figured that, and actually it was George, my producer right here, George Bradicum, and I, who started talking about doing both of them. And so once we thought, oh, well, we should do both sides. Oh, that's really interesting. But, you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like I've seen, when I was researching, there's a lot of fan films who've already done, like, the battle part. Darth Vader gets hit by a phaser gun, oh, and, you know, or, you know, Sulu gets sliced in half with a lightsaber. But there was a lot of story there, and especially this is kind of different because it's about George Lucas and J.J. Abrams. And at least in terms of writing it, I really wanted to keep pushing it, and research is all I can say is learning things about George and his then fiancée, and you know, all these different characters started coming into play. So just really trying to go further and further down. So it just took time, really, time and research to get to where it is. So hope you stick around. It's playing next.
Is it strange to write real life personalities? Like, did you have trouble dealing with the fact that you're writing people that are alive and like you can watch interviews to get their voice? I mean, is that hard? Was that hard? And you can say no. I mean, if the answer is just no, then great, and we'll move on.
You know, I'm not sure that, of course I watch interviews, try to figure out how they talk and what their mannerisms are, but you know, at the same time, it was also just about making a decision about what kind of character I needed for the film, and pretty much writing, you know, it from that perspective with those motivations, and you know, so I really treated it more as like, okay, here's a version of those people, and then this is how they interact, as opposed to like, oh, I need us, you know. So when we casted, we didn't just purely go for appearance. We needed the performance and the qualities that we were looking for to balance it out.
Cool. You start snapping. Josh, you came through locally, right? You attended a film school locally, right? Like.
Yes. Myself and most of my team were all friends and film students from Cal State Long Beach. So we're just 20 minutes west of here. Yes.
What's the mascot of Cal State Long Beach? Do you have a mascot?
Well, Prospector Pete.
Prospector Pete is the mascot for Cal State Long Beach. Wow.
Or the Dirtbags. You know, whichever one's better. Pyramid. We have a pyramid. You may have seen it. It's blue.
No Illuminati. Just
yeah, there is no Illuminati there. No.
Freemason.
Yeah.
No Illuminati.
But I'd love to hear more about that experience, like going through film school now. Like I went through film school in the early 2000s. Before, don't mutter at me. What is it like now to be a young filmmaker rolling through that process and producing something like Star Trek Wars with your friends? I'm guessing most of your friends from film school worked with you on Star Trek Wars.
Well, you know, that is
Very broad.
definitely, yes. Okay, so
Start from the beginning.
I was also born in the 90s. And, the benefit of going through that through film school was really an opportunity to make a lot of connections, and that's primarily why we work with so many people, because in order to get the 150 people who ended up working on this film, we basically went to our film department and said, who wants in? And in terms of when I was going through it, one thing that was happening, because from the day I started to the time I finished, like when I was going in, it was standard def, and now it's 4K. We shot Star Trek Wars in 4K, and it's actually preserved in 4K. So even in just like the 4.5 years that I was there, things had gone from day to night, even digital, and especially even with the professors, a lot of them still don't have a full super grasp of the cameras and digital. So they've, even as a department, we're going from teaching kids how to use 16mm to now, really honestly, primarily digital. Well, it really is amazing that what you can do for free, what you can do on your computer at home. I assume most of our films are just made on computers at home. Even the majority of the film itself, whether it was working with the composer or 15 different VFX artists or the sound supervisor, the sound mixers, all of them, sound designers, all of it, it's taking place on like 25 individual laptops, and each piece of the puzzle is like back and forth through emails.
Cool. And Dropbox is a thing you can use pretty easily. Like, I hate to play the back in my day thing, but we had these giant hard drives we had to plug in and unplug. FireWire was new.
I did too, but in college, that's what we did in college.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, no, you can just send a 25 gigabyte file across the.
It's crazy.
We were talking, but you know what? I think some people have said like, oh, now that filmmaking's so easy, the discipline's gone. But on the other hand, I think being able to shoot more freely and get more content is learning in itself, is having more times to have an opportunity to grow and figure out how to make movies. And it's really just about repeating the process over and over again. And yeah, there's no excuses. There's really no excuse. If you want to make something, you just go, you can do it. I mean, people are making stuff on their phones now, so there really is no excuse, and I think that's a great thing. Now people have freedom to express themselves, even when you're from rich Cal State Long Beach. we did not have much equipment at all, so.
We shot a lot on our phones.
Smartphones weren't that big a thing.
Let's throw it open to some crowd questions. I'm positive some of you out there have questions for our panel. Yeah, right there.
This is for everyone. What were your craft services like on set?
How did people eat?
Okay. So with our tiny budget, we spent $3,000 on food because we had to feed, I believe, over 300 people over a 6-day period. Because you get 100 people coming out, between 50 and 100 each day, that adds up to like 300. So the supposed math is $10 a person per day. So if it's like 300 people, that's $3,000. That being said, we did get support. We got some discounts from local businesses. It was really great. And we have one of our restaurants we go to, and we always have that every time, and that's always a big hit. But try to get things that don't need refrigeration. Try to get things that don't make a huge mess. So like avoid something really.
Avoid mayonnaise.
Yes, avoid just a tub of mayonnaise.
I was on a crew where everyone got food poisoning from mayonnaise. So it needs refrigeration, as it turns out.
But cheapest way to buy loyalty, get the food out there. If something goes wrong, here, have a sandwich.
Other questions? Raise your hand. Yeah.
When you're in the process of creating a film and then on to promoting it, does that take all of your focus, or are you always in the back of your mind coming up with other ideas for other projects and bouncing ideas off of people, or is it you're strictly focused on your current film?
Okay, well, I don't have a million ideas, so it's sort of one at a time. No, it's in this case, this film, this project, because it involves so many people, it really just consumed mine and hopefully not too many other people's lives all the time. I was working honestly full-time on it for at least a year because just trying to walk it through each stage. It's really just more about does the idea strike me? I know there's a lot of people who like to try to get content out there a lot, but right now it's sort of just about one at a time. What did we learn from that? Did that work? How are we going to make the next thing? And I need to look up who said this, but a famous director, it may have been Guillermo del Toro. I heard a quote from him. He said, "You need to do the projects that wouldn't exist without you." You might have to fact check me on that. I'm sorry, I don't remember, but that's really important to me. I don't want to just pick a project because it'd be easy or fun. I want to do it because it's something no one else has thought of or has done, and it's really tough. But with time, or at least find a different angle or find your own voice on a subject. So.
What are you working on next? And some of you kind of covered that, but let's roll down the line.
Well, over this summer, I've been developing a new idea and sort of mentally preparing myself to go on, down that path. It's not unfortunately, it's still in the works here. It's difficult to really talk too much about it, but I think I've really been influenced by the films here. This time wanting to do, to be honest, a film that takes place in an existing world, but to take the characters in a new direction. And this world is the best world, like no world ever was. I think in terms of what I would like to do with it, aside from trying to create a really original story with existing characters, is to really kind of take the number of people down, make it a drama, and make it more polished. I want to spend more time, on cinematography and art direction, and that's...
And training, which is your cause.
Right, yes. So it's really about the next film. I'm really excited about trying to explore different avenues with various elements of filmmaking that we have not been able to do yet, due to having to feed 300 people.
Sure.
So we need no more of that.
Same your budget. All right, we're getting the cutoff, so thank you to all the panelists. Please stick around the room. We'll be showing films all day.
Yes, all day.
And thank you guys for coming.
All right.
Follow us online.
Yeah.
There's a card on your chair, so
Check out the site. Let me
do it.
think more.
Take some berries that you get. I don't, well, I just want to give you first chance.
I mean, time is a